Ay, drop out like MVP. Ay, I got money.
Hello lovelies and welcome back to another video. Today I have a recipe for the family. Today we are going to be making chicken fajitas. So as you guys already know in my previous video, we start off with washing our chicken and cleansing our chicken and just getting it to the perfection and to the level of satisfaction that we find best appropriate for our families and our palates. So as you can see, I had the lemon juice, the lime juice, and I just let that soak for a few minutes. And I moved on to the next step of actually taking half a lemon or slices of lemon, and I clean each individual piece of chicken with with the lemon. And I went ahead and I started cutting off any pieces or parts that I did not want to consume. So at this point, I'm done cutting up and taking off of the gunk and the parts that I do not want to eat. And I just simply just drain the sink out from the lemon juice and the lime juice that I had the chicken soaking in. And I in this part of the video, I just took out the bones and a couple small pieces of the chicken and I placed it in a Ziploc bag because I like to make chicken broth from using those leftover scraps of bones. And I will also make a video of that one of these days where I show you guys how to make homemade chicken broth by using your leftover chicken pieces and stuff of that such. So yeah. So you guys already know when it comes to using and dealing with raw meats of any kind, whether that's chicken, beef, pork, whatever, make sure that you always, always, always clean off your surrounding area, your tools, whatever that you use to cut up the meat and anything of that such. Make sure that you are thoroughly cleaning it. I use disinfecting spray, I use bleach just to ensure that I had no continued spread of salmonella, because salmonella can be it can cause a serious illness that can get you or your people, whoever you live with, sick if it is not taken care of, if it's not sanitized correctly. So as you can see in the video, I'm wiping down the cutting board that I use, the knife as well. I'm using hot water to kill all the germs and bacteria. And I'm also cleaning the sink itself and then the surrounding areas of the sink as well, making sure that again there's no trace of anything. Like if someone was to use a microscope or anything of that such, they shouldn't be able to see any type of germs left on that counter once you are done with the area of cleaning. Also, be sure to make sure that you move your chicken or any of the supplies that you're cleaning with. Make sure you move that to the side a little further down the counter to avoid from any chemicals getting in your food. As you can see, I was extremely close to my food, but I made sure I moved it real quick before anything got cross contaminated or anything of that such. All right, so here we go with the good part about all of this. I love marinating. This is the marinating process. So after I finish wiping down the sink and everything and my tools that I use, I simply just grab my chicken, and I went ahead and squeezed some fresh lemon juice onto my chicken, giving that a nice twist and twirl, a nice little massage, because you know you gotta love on your meat. Do not be afraid to rub on your chicken or whatever marinating meat that you're preparing. Do not be afraid to use that. And I made sure I especially gave it a nice little massage and a nice clean before I added my seasonings, because again, like I said in the previous clip, you saw that it was next to the sink as I was cleaning it. So I made sure I gave it another rinse before I added my olive oil and my combined season. And again, you guys, all of the ingredients that I used in this video will be down in the description box below. So again, don't be afraid to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and make sure you turn on that bell notification, because more content is coming. I promise it is coming. I'm sorry for the wait, sorry for the delay. I know this video was supposed to be out on Wednesday, but yes. So we're going to get back into the video. So as I said, after you give your chicken that last and final rinse before adding your olive oil and your seasonings, you're going to give that a nice twist, a nice massage. You're going to make sure you give your food some love. It's something about it being in a good spirit as you're being in a good spirit as you are cooking could definitely change the outcome of how your food tastes. I promise you it is. Do not ever come to the kitchen mad or upset, or you're not really in the mood, because your food is not going to taste the same. It never does. And I forgot to also add that I also did use a lime as well, fresh lime and a fresh lemon. And so after I finished up with marinating my chicken and putting the seasonings and oil on it, I just simply grabbed a freezer bag or a container, whichever one you have closest to you or whatever you have available. I just go ahead and grab a container and go ahead and place your chicken into a bowl and place it into the fridge for a couple of hours to overnight, just depending on whenever you want to eat this in particular. I believe this was like 6, 7, maybe about 9 in the morning that I had prepped everything for dinner, and dinner wasn't until maybe about 4 or 5 o'clock. So I let it marinate for a little while, and it was so good. So on to the next part. What I did in this clip, all I did was I grabbed all of my vegetables and ingredients for the fajitas, for the fajita vegetables, and I decided to make a side of guacamole. So all I did was just grab my vegetables. I placed them in a sink full of hot water. I grabbed a brand new sponge. I repeat, I grabbed a brand new sponge, and I just wiped down my vegetables. Each piece of vegetable or ingredient that I used, I wiped it down correctly and thoroughly to ensure that there were no extra critters, no dirt or anything on my food, because that's disgusting and no. So all you'll see me doing in the video is just slicing up my onions, my bell peppers, and all my other ingredients. I just sliced them into nice, I'll say about an inch, half an inch thick pieces, just into half slices. So, you know, it's up to you how you want your vegetables, but this is just the way that I did mine in this particular, because I know with fajita vegetables, they normally have nice, decent sized pieces. It's not too small, not too big. It's perfect. So, yeah. So at this point, I'm done with cutting up all my fajita vegetables needed to make my fajitas later. So I went ahead and rinsed out a bowl, and I placed my vegetables into that bowl, and I set that aside. Here I'm just chopping up my vegetables for my guacamole, and I'm just making like decent rough chops, not too big, not too small, but a perfect chunky guacamole is what I was going for. So I just diced up my tomatoes, diced up my onions, and I grabbed an avocado, and I went ahead and cut that open, removed the seed out of that, and I scooped out the actual avocado itself, and I placed that into a bowl, smashed it up. I tried to add another one, however that avocado was extremely hard, so I just left that to the side, and you guys are going to see that in a few. But yeah, I just placed that to the side because it was just a little too much to smash up, it wasn't soft enough. I thought it was really soft, but it wasn't. I was fooled. Additionally, I added to my fajita vegetables was some garlic, and I had a bunch of habanero peppers. So I just added one habanero pepper just to give it a little bit of kick, because I like my food to be a little spicy. But that is completely up to you and how you like your food in your home. So, it's up to you. It's optional. So now it's dinner time. I believe it was like 4, maybe 5 o'clock around this time. I just simply grabbed a frying pan and I set it to about a medium to high heat. I added some olive oil to that pan, and I let that heat up for about a minute or so before I added in my vegetables that I prepped earlier in the day. And I just added my seasonings. Now note, you guys, I let the oil sit on the stove for about a minute or so before I added my seasonings. Do not do this, because those seasonings were so strong, but it was so good and so delicious. I added the seasonings to the pot before I added the food in there. So the seasonings and the aroma of it was super strong. It kind of hit me in the back of my throat. So I would advise you not to do that. I would advise you to add your vegetables in first and then add your seasonings before you reverse it or anything of that such. But either way, the food still came out great. No harm, no foul. But yeah, if you don't want your throat, that seasoning to hit you in the back of your throat, and you didn't eat nothing yet, then do the vegetables first. So I just let this pot sit on the stove for a few minutes before I added the chicken broth to it. The beef broth to it, and let it simmer for a few minutes. And then after that, once my vegetables were about halfway cooked, I went ahead and took the vegetables out and placed them back into the bowl, and I added the chicken into the pot and let the chicken cook for about a good 25 to 30 minutes before I added the vegetables back in. And I'm sorry for you guys who are like, dang, can she slow down? Like I said, all of the instructions and every step that I made will be in the description box, so you all can just either pause the video, or you could go along with the video and do whatever way works for you guys. I don't want y'all to feel like I'm moving too fast. So everything that I'm telling you, it will be in the description box in detail. So yeah. So once I placed my chicken into the pot or the pan, I went ahead and started on my rice. I have a rice cooker, so this actually makes life a little bit easier. I know a typical chicken fajita will be just the chicken and the sauteed vegetables. However, I wanted my food to, stick to me a little bit longer. So I added some additional starch to it. And I just went ahead and added about a cup or two. I'll say about 2.5 or half a bag of, I'll say about a cup and a half, 2.5 cups of rice, butter, the remaining amount of the beef broth, and I added a little bit of water as well. And I just set the timer on my rice cooker to about 10 minutes. Now, as we head back over here to the chicken, make sure as you're doing everything, you're keeping an eye on your chicken and you're keeping an eye on everything else in the kitchen, because you do not want anything to burn. So make sure, if need be, you turn down your temperature to about a medium-low, or about a medium-low temperature, just so things won't, burn too quickly, and you don't burn the house down, because Lord knows. No, Lord Jesus, no. But here in this clip, since it is chicken fajitas, I wanted to do something different. I wanted a kind of street vibe, like a mom and pop shop type of vibe. So I went ahead and opened up a pack of tortilla wraps, and I placed each individual tortilla wrap onto a fire. I'm not sure about how everyone's oven is. Not oven, but stove is. But mine is kind of like a gas. I have a gas stove, so it was easier for me to do this. Now, if you have like a regular stove or any other type of stove other than a gas stove, then you may want to go ahead and grab your pot of water and on some plates. Put a plate over that, and then just go ahead and add your tortillas just so they'll be warm. Or you could put it in a microwave, whatever works for you. However you like your tortilla wraps, then go for it by all means. But I wanted kind of like a little street vibe to it, and I just went ahead and added each individual wrap onto the fire, and I let it cook. I let it heat up for about a good 10 seconds, or until I saw like the edges a little burnt and crispy the way I like it. So yeah, this is it. Now, mind y'all need to also still be keeping an eye on the pot. Keep an eye on your food, because it will burn fast. And my mistake was I didn't turn down the fire lower. I didn't turn it down at all. I kept it at the same temperature, and when you put the lid over it, it keeps all of that heat and steam in, so it's gonna burn quicker. Okay, so now we get to the very final stages before it is time for us to go ahead and put everything together. So here in this clip, you just see me. I went ahead and took out the chicken. I added the vegetables back to the pot so it could cook with the chicken. And I just let that, simmer and sit together for a few minutes. And now I took out the chicken and I placed it on a cutting board, and I just sliced it into nice, decent sized pieces, because a whole chicken, nah, I didn't want that, a whole piece of chicken thigh in the wrap just like that. I wanted to give it, like I said, kind of like a street food truck type of vibe. So yeah, I'm just slicing them up into nice, decent sized pieces. Please do not be alarmed of how the pot looks. It looks like it looks like the food burned. However, it did not, because I added the seasonings to the oil in the very beginning. Then it cooked and it burned a little bit faster. But no, the food was not burnt at all. It was really delicious, if I do say so myself. And everybody who ate it agreed, and they wanted extras. They was trying to eat my food, and I didn't make it for everybody. But yeah. So now we're back over to the rice. The rice was done within 10 minutes. I just went ahead and added some beef stock, a little bit of additional water, maybe some salt, some pepper, and some lime juice, because this is a lime rice. Normally would have been a lime and cilantro rice. However, I didn't have any fresh cilantro laying around, so I just did the lime rice instead. I didn't add too much of the lime because I didn't want it to overpower any other ingredient that I added to it. But, you know, everything came out, to my personal opinion, everybody else who ate the food, it came out to be a 10 out of 10. So now you just go ahead and plate your food, and it should look something like this. Now we're just going to wrap this video up. I thank you all for watching and listening. I hope I didn't give out too much information that made you like, oh no, I don't want to try this recipe. But please do not forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and go ahead and follow me on all my other social media. Thank you. Have a blessed one.